Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 604 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Thank you for joining us this morning for your daily bread and circus. I do want to say to everybody, good morning. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good, man. I'm still flying high off of Victory Monday, man. It's gone into Victory Tuesday, baby.
You ain't kidding, huh? How many times? Let me ask you this: How many times have you went and looked at the standings?
All the time. I haven't stopped. It's
I
like,
got to
are we
tell you,
are we really in first place?
right, all by ourselves, and I don't know how many times that I do, and even like if I'm scrolling and I'm not looking for it, but I see it, I'll stop and I'll just stare at it
Yeah.
because there may be no other time that I mean, who knows? Who knows? Other teams are going to start winning, and we're in first place all by ourselves.
Yeah.
Nobody has any wins. We're the only one that has a win. Come on, this is awesome.
I'm
If the
loving
season
it.
ended today, I would be a happy man.
Well, we would have to play Kansas City in the first round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that yesterday. Kamoli
Maybe I
tweeted
wouldn't be
that
so
out.
happy.
I was like, we were all feeling so good that I read that tweet. I'm like, not so good.
Yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what? I'll take first place. And like Ray Fittipaldo just tweeted out, we may have only scored 18 points, 270 yards of offense. 9 teams scored fewer points, and 11 had fewer than 270 yards. So we're not doing too bad, boys.
No, we're really we're really not.
We're really not,
I mean, you look
which
around
is
the league at a
sad.
lot of quarterbacks this league, like nobody really went crazy. I'm looking at good quarterbacks, and
Yeah.
they've all gone, 165 yards, 195 yards. It was really a small amount of people that really went all
Yeah.
out with the statistics this weekend. So again, week one, it could be a lot worse. I'm not going to complain at all. Matter of fact, we got good news today about our Pittsburgh Steelers. We got some other things going on here. Paul Skeens back on the hill yesterday. I'm going to talk a little Pitt today, Mike. There was some
Yeah.
things that went down at Pitt over the
Yeah.
past couple
Surprising.
days. So we got some things going on. Everybody, good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is again episode 604.
Woo.
Two Dumb Yinzers. This is Denver Bronco week.
Mhm.
We'll be facing off against Bo Nix and the Broncos, who Bo Nix, the rookie, did lead not only in passing, he led in rushing as well for the Denver Broncos, which normally you think to yourself, whoa, this double threat, this guy is,
Yeah.
something we got to concern ourselves about. However, he's not really that good of a quarterback just yet. And the fact that their running back, who's not really their quarterback, who's not really known for his running, is their leading rusher at the
Yeah.
moment. So those kind of things I find encouraging as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Mike.
Yeah, and we will get a good firsthand look at Cortland Sutton,
That's
who,
right.
who hopefully will make that plane ride back to Pittsburgh with us.
I'll put his ass right on that plane. Hey,
Right?
lucky I ain't in Denver. That's all I gotta
Right?
say. Yeah, so we do have a lot of things going on today. Mike. Um, I want to start by saying this. Maybe we should seriously consider cutting out the significant injury over under day.
Yeah, I think we should. Ever since you implemented it, everyone has gotten hurt.
It's been nothing but significant injuries every week. So I don't know. I might do it one more week, Mike. I might risk this, but you know what? If this happens again, we can't do it anymore. I mean, how many times do you remember the significant injuries being as heavy as they've been over the past year?
Not a whole lot. Not since you implemented that in the betting pool last season.
You might lose a guy, you might lose
Yeah,
somebody of importance, but come on. I mean, every week we're losing somebody of a big name. Uh, but again, Mike, we did all pick under, believe it or not. I think you did it because you just didn't want to manifest the idea of somebody getting hurt. So we
I did
picked
not.
under on Friday, and here we are, guys. We don't have a
Yeah,
punter,
who
but
would have thought
yeah,
the punter would be the one who would be the significant injury and it'd actually be a significant injury?
you ain't kidding. That's just as
Like,
big as anything right now. I mean, I
yeah,
don't get me wrong. I don't want to lose anybody else, but come on, that was big.
that was huge, man. And the way we have to play field position and ball control,
Mm.
that is huge, man. A huge loss.
That goes such a long way, Mike, with the kind of team that we have right now, not scoring a lot of points offensively, not being able to get the ball in the end zone. You do need to have that field position in check, and obviously that's something that certainly takes a hit by losing Cameron
Yeah.
Johnston. But Mike, some news yesterday. We got a punter back.
Yeah.
It's not who was you saying? What guy did you say yesterday?
I was jokingly saying, oh no, Brad Wing. Brad
Right.
Wing was who I
So,
thought.
so Mike, suggested Brad Wing. I suggested possibly Presley Harvin, but no, guys, we do bring back somebody who's been on the Steelers two separate times. Last time in 2021, Corliss Waitman. Mike, I don't recall Corliss. Is there anything you could remind me about him?
He played 2 games. He had 7 punts.
I know he's a
Trying to think.
southpaw. He's a left-footed kicker.
Yeah, his average is about 42, 41 yards per kick. Eh, inside the 20, like his best season he had, his full season is in 2022 in Denver, 31.3% of his kicks were inside the 20. I don't know where that ranks in the NFL, but that's where it's at. 41-yard average. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Out of 96 punts, he had 30 of them land inside the 20, only a 6.3% touchback rating. So percentage that if his kicks go for touchbacks, I'll take that. Career long 63 yards, averages about 41 and a half yards per punt. Boss is doing better.
My question is this: how the hell was that a holding call? There was no
Exactly.
there was
I'm sorry,
no
he's 46.9 per punt.
there was
And
no
it's,
running into the
yeah,
kicker. There
yeah,
was no it was
yeah,
I mean, it was nothing literally, and
yeah.
the guy didn't get thrown. Watch his body.
No, like he catches him, and if he didn't catch him, he would have landed into him anyway, and it
Right.
would have been a penalty. So
So that pisses me off. Why do we get
yeah,
screwed all the time, Mike? Why do
like
we get
these,
screwed, Mike?
I know.
Why do we get screwed? It's
I
everything. If it
Yeah,
wasn't the penalties, it's running into our kicker. If it's not running into the kicker, it's tearing our
hmm
guys the helmet off and
yeah,
smashing them over the head. But guess what? Why? Why does nothing ever go in our favor in these
yeah.
cases, Mike?
I don't know. I guarantee you, this week a receiver is going to push off a Dante Jackson or Joey Porter Jr. and nothing will be called.
Or
No,
it'll be
I
an
guarantee
interference
it.
on our guy.
Yeah, and it will lead to a game changing play, and that's how we'll end up maybe losing the game is
Why
because of
the
a
game seems
call
so
that we got
damn
called last
weird
week.
anymore.
Yeah,
Nobody's, what these calls, nothing makes
yeah.
sense.
No. And in any of the officials at halftime telling Watt, hey, I think I messed up on that.
Well,
I
no
appreciate
shit.
I appreciate the honesty on it. If you watch it live, he was onside, but it was so bang bang that watching it live, okay, I can see where the officials come from. But my God, he beat it, man. He beat the jump. He didn't. His body didn't cross the neutral zone until the ball was moved. It was a perfectly timed jump of the snap,
I think what
and
was beneficial about TJ Watt
ooh,
getting screwed all day. And listen,
fired him up.
let me start off by saying this. I'm not one of these people that run to the referee as an excuse. I don't do
Uh
this. I
huh.
never do this. I've never done that. If it
Mm-hmm.
is what it is, I'll call it out.
Yeah,
But listen, these referees were terrible.
they were bad.
And one thing that I am glad of, Mike, one thing that the one positive that we were able to gain out of this is the fact that TJ Watt kept his motor going on
Mm-hmm.
after each and every time we
Yeah,
got screwed. He was able to, I mean, he had what 3, 4 sacks that game. If he would have
yeah.
a couple of strips of, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on. And Mike, go ahead.
Didn't the way he reacted to it, didn't that remind doesn't that remind you the way like when teams start cheap shotting Crosby, how he just decides, I'm taking this game over. I'm kicking it into another gear. That's what Watt did. He channeled that frustration in the best way possible. If we're going to another gear, boys. Either you're with me or you're not. And that defense, jumped on his back, and that just I love to see it. Finally we have a leader on that defense since Joey Porter left. We have that guy now. Like Watt's been here long enough. He should have been that guy for a while now, but he's finally vocalizing it. And I'm loving to see that the way he's just firing up the defense
I
and then
guess
just
Mike, the
kicking it
past
into
couple
high
of
gear.
years, there's a couple of years when guys said that. I think we're totally following Watt. He's the leader in the locker room. But he has to
I think,
continue.
yeah,
He has to continue that through the course of the season. And what seemed to happen a lot of those times was the team got behind him, but he then faced an injury. And then what do? You're
yeah,
everyone's gonna
yep,
rally around a guy that's limping around and ain't
yeah.
playing. You know what I mean? He has to be able to continue to be
Hmm.
consistent with the way he's playing, with his attitude, with everything. And that's going to keep the morale of the defense up. The fact of the matter is, we're not going to be able to score 40 points a game. So
No,
this is very significant. The fact of the matter is, we're not going to be able to have great field position unless we see something amazing out of Waitman that we were having
yeah.
with the previous guy. So, we do have to ride this. He has to be the Ray Lewis figure on this defense, Mike.
Yeah. I was going to say that he needs to be the Ray Lewis of this team. The way Ray would get everyone fired up before a game, like Ray Lewis, Joey Porter would get them fired up before a game. He needs to become a more of a vocal leader, and we need someone else to be that quiet leader. That Watt seems to be more comfortable with being that quiet leader. Just follow my example and go out there. Someone else on the defense needs to be that guy. He needs to take over that vocal role, and it's looking like he's doing that. And I'm liking that out of him. He needs to break out of your shell and be that vocal leader for the team.
And one thing I like about this defense too, Mike, if you're going to do that, if you're going to take that approach, if you're going to play the Ray Lewis and get these guys fired up, you know what? I think guys like Dante Jackson and the linebacking core that we got and the new guys, I think that these guys will be on board. I really
Yeah.
do. Again, Dante Jackson, this guy seems like a ball hawk back there. You could
Uh-huh.
really, if this defense, you could get it to play at that high level every week. And again, you're not going to win every game. I get that. But
Mm-hmm.
play at that high level. TJ kind of play I'm sorry, the
Ray
Ray
Lewis.
Lewis role. And you have all these new guys who I think, Mike, are willing to step up and follow him into that, play that kind of
Yeah.
defense. All these young linebackers, your superstar safety and Minka, you got a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, just maybe, they can make one of these 2000 type runs that the Ravens did whenever their offense wasn't too good, but that defense was the best in the league, hands down. I mean, that offense was fair at best. So,
Yeah.
if this team could do this, one of these kind of things, it's not very, you don't see it all the time. Every once in a while, the Buccaneers
Yeah.
in the early 2000s were similar to this. The Ravens in 2000 similar to this. That's what you got to do again until you could get a team and a quarterback in a situation where you're able to score points more at
Yeah.
will. You got to do things like this. And again, losing this punter, Mike, that's
That's
big.
huge.
So
Yeah, and I'm going to just I went back and just watched a little bit of that D line play. They played a lot better than I thought they did, especially Larry
yeah,
Ogunjobi. He was drawing the double team. Uh, I like the way he played, and he said, his foot injury is feeling so much better. He hasn't felt this strong in a long time off that foot, and you saw the way he was firing off the line and handling the double teams, and then that allowed Keanu Benton and Cam Hayward to be one-on-one covered, and that is encouraging. Cam played really well, even though he's only getting that single blocker. What we talked about, he's not drawing the double team like he used to, and he needs to consistently beat that one-on-one, and he was. And going back and watch Keanu Benton going up against their All-Pro left guard, I was watching film breakdown. I think Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network had it up. Those two, it was a battle. Like one down, Keanu would win. The other down, this guy would win. It was a battle back and forth. And if Keanu can keep playing the way he did in this game, that's going to, do that defense well. And hopefully, like you said, with that punting situation, we're going to lose probably about like 10, 15 yards per punt. And they need to step it up. And building blocks are there from this first game going back and rewatching it. I'm liking more what I'm seeing.
I go to agree, Mike. Let me talk about a couple things here on defense that we did that we were able to accomplish. The defense did only allow 54 yards in the second half of the game. Of course, we were losing after the first half. This Falcons team that brought in a bunch of guys, they got a bunch of young talent. They bring in a quarterback. They were expecting to do big things on offense. Mike, they managed to score 50, they managed 54 total yards in the
Yeah.
second half. That's that's a credit to our defense, Mike. People are already now. Don't get me wrong and say it's only the first. I know, believe me, but people are already bringing up T.J. Watt's name, Mike, for the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you why that's significant. From week one last year till the end of the year, who did they talk about in this situation every week for no reason at all?
Myles Garrett.
And at the end of the season, after not having the best season of all the pass rushers, who won the defensive player of the year?
Myles Garrett.
Exactly, Mike. The way that T.J. Watt and the gentleman down at Dallas, his name's slipping in my mind at the moment,
Parsons.
Parsons. The way that these two guys played in Week 1, it's not a surprise that they're already talking. And again, there's a lot
Mhm.
of football left. I get this. You don't got to write in and tell me, listen. But early in the season last year, you kind of got this vibe from the NFL, from the announcers, from they just
Yep.
kept talking about Garrett, talking about Garrett, talking about Garrett. And no matter what, it didn't seem like you were going to be able to slow that momentum down whole way through the season. Other players had better numbers than he did. He didn't have any
Yeah.
sacks for the last X amount of weeks, and he still won. So I think this is encouraging, Mike, that they're really going off on TJ and the fact that he was able to perform the way that he was. They're not just
Yeah.
going off a name brand alone. You're
Hmm.
able to say, look at this dude. I mean, come on, he was a monster out there.
Yeah.
On top of doing the one thing he does the best is rushing the passer and causing problems. Mike, his run defense improved 100% from last year
Oh
so
yeah.
far,
So far.
but that plays a big part, I think.
Oh yeah. And you would like I think it was Kyle Brandt on the NFL Network. He said like TJ Watt is the best, player in football right behind Patrick Mahomes. And like every year it should be TJ Watt, TJ Watt, TJ Watt, TJ Watt for your defensive player of the year, going back for however far you want to go. Because since he's come into the league, he's been the most dominant edge rusher in the league.
And for the
There
people that
like
scoff,
what one more sack in that amount of games. Only Reggie White will have more sacks in that span of his career. That tells you what kind of caliber of players he is in with.
and what's beautiful about it, Mike, his performance is all that needed to be said on Sunday. It wasn't like the Myles Garrett thing last year where you're
Yeah,
watching these games and they're just telling you how great he is. And after the game, you're
yeah,
wondering, wow, why is he so great at it? And see, well, it wasn't because of his performance. It was because he almost got to the quarterback a lot of the
yeah.
times where he got all this credit. It was a bunch of garbage. All I'm saying is it seems encouraging to me to hear
Hmm.
this early.
Yeah,
On one hand, you would normally think, again, this is way too early, but I think just for that
yeah.
situation alone, I think it's encouraging to hear that this
Oh yeah.
early. Mike,
I
also, yeah,
I was
please.
gonna say though, him and Micah Parsons, it's gonna come down to one of those two
And we play them
early on.
guys
What I'm
in about a
seeing,
month.
yeah, and Micah Parsons had a hell of a game against the Browns, but I put TJ's performance above him, but I think that's going to be a neck and neck, and hopefully the NFL media talking early about TJ Watt that will carry through like we saw last year. But I'm afraid this might be Micah Parsons' year that he gets gifted the Defensive Player of the Year award.
If I was hearing all about Micah right now, I would be concerned. I'm hearing an awful lot
A
about
lot of
TJ.
TJ. Yep.
Even the game that Micah played, I'm still hearing an awful lot about TJ. And you got to remember also, Micah did have a great start last year. And in that dominating performance that we've seen early on, he was good all year and he was real good.
Yeah.
But there was kind of a fall off for me. But again, at the
Hmm.
end of the day, he still award Myles Garrett, who doesn't
Yeah.
get any sacks in the last 7 games or whatever it was. So I got my eyes on the prize. TJ Watt, baby. Listen to this, Mike. If another thing that we dislike is the PFF here on the show. But
Yeah.
let me give you the top PFF grades from the Steelers from Sunday. There's top five. Here we go.
Hmm.
Number 5, James Daniels with a 75.8. Mike, James Daniels, 75.8. It was actually James Daniels 74, but his pillow helmet got 1.8. So he makes the top five in this list. Number 4, Justin Fields with a 75.9. 75.9 Justin
Yeah.
Fields, number 4. Number 3, Deshaun Elliott. I love to see this.
Yep.
Deshaun Elliott, our safety, which we have more safety scoop here in a bit,
Hmm.
has a score from the PFF of 86. The second best Steeler performer on Sunday, according to PFF, which I hate, but the numbers are for the second best performer, Mike, was Cam Hayward with an 89.4.
Hmm. I think this one might have
He
been
fell into
deserved
somebody
because of
really hard one play. I think that might have been it. That might have did it. Also, and then finally, the number 1 overall rated player from the Steelers game on Sunday was TJ Watt with a 95.3. That's really, really good.
that TJ Watt had to have a great game for PFF to give him that high of a grade. I saw on their Twitter account they tweeted him out and like, oh, or no surprise, TJ Watt. I'm like, you guys talk shit on him all last year,
Yeah.
and you would act like, oh yeah, we knew all along he's so great. Get out of here. But yeah, I have no problem with those
We knew
grades
all along
right
that
there.
Myles Garrett was a bum.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike, a couple other things, man. We got big scoop today. And the matter of fact, this is something that you wanted to do in the offseason when we were assembling our defense and trying to figure
Uh-huh.
out what would work, what wouldn't work. And you said this many times. I credit you this. You kept saying, let's just go get Terrell Edmonds back. Let's just go
Yeah.
get him back. It should be pretty simple. We could probably get him on a pretty reasonable deal. He's played well with Minka Fitzpatrick.
Hmm.
And as of yesterday, we got former first round pick Terrell Edmonds back from the Jacksonville
Yeah.
Jaguars practice squad. Of course, you remember he left here, went to Philadelphia, made his way down to Jacksonville, and he was available. And we snatched his ass up yesterday. So our safety room is looking really good. with Minka
Hmm.
Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, Devontae KZ, and now with Terrell Edmonds back. I'm feeling pretty confident with the back end of the secondary, Mike. What do you think? What's your comments and thoughts on Terrell Edmonds making his trip back to Pittsburgh?
I like it. I think he's still going to be an effective player, especially like you said, him and Minka, they worked well together when they were here. Um, he's not going to be counted on to be that full time starter now that Sean Elliott's here, so he knows the defense for the most part. Just going to picking up any new wrinkles that have been added since he left. He
He's
can
such a
pop in
great,
there.
strong run support. He
Oh
stops the
yeah.
run really well too. I
Hmm.
like that.
Yep, and he's pretty good in coverage against tight ends too, so that helps. He can play special teams as well. He has no problem running down there too, so that helps too. And this bolsters that secondary even more. I like it. I don't know if they're going to try him in the slot over Beanie Bishop. He did get beat for that touchdown on Kyle Pitts with the broken coverage there,
Mhm.
so I'm going to blame him just because he's a rookie. That's just how it works.
Tell you what, if that
Um,
was the only touchdown pass, I'll take it.
I'll take it too. I think it was the blown coverage between him and
Yeah.
the safety. I think it was the actual safety's
Matter
fault.
of
I
fact,
think
I
it was
forgot all
Kazia.
about it.
Was that?
Is that
I did it. I did it because
the
it was
vision of
like,
the standings have wiped
yeah,
everything out, Mike?
yeah.
It really
Like
have.
when the corner and the safety both go walking with their head down,
Yeah.
one of the two messed up, and they don't want to blame each other. But no, I like him back there. He's a smart player. And then you eventually, we're going to get Cam Sutton back. That's just going to make this secondary even stronger. I like it because we're going to need it, especially in the second half of the year when we have all these high-powered offenses we have to deal with. It's just more depth back there, and we've seen this in the past couple of years. Man, safety depth on this team is something we need. We've had injuries like Kazee between injuries and suspensions. Minka Fitzpatrick gets nicked up because how hard and physical he plays.
Who was that
So it's
other dude we just had here? He came up from Atlanta or somewhere. He was here last season.
um
I could picture him. I just can't think of his name.
yeah, he played for the Chargers. Keanu Neal.
Yeah. Keanu
Yeah,
Neal.
yeah, yeah,
I'll take Terrell Edmonds over Keanu Neal any
yeah.
day. But
And
Mike, that
this,
is
we have Ryan Watts is on the IR, and that Jalen Elliott was the other safety back there, a journeyman. At least he's going to bump further down now that Edmonds is back. So
again, everybody,
I
big
like this
news. This
signing.
is big news. The Steelers bring back former first round draft pick Terrell Edmonds, played many years alongside Minka.
Hmm.
Was here in Pittsburgh for quite some time, left with the Philly. Thought the grass would be greener, ended out in Jacksonville. Well, the grass is definitely not greener.
Yeah.
And the Steelers snatched him up yesterday. So Terrell Edmonds is back on the team, guys. Also, along with Corliss Waitman, the punter that we bring back to take the spot of Cameron Johnson, of course, who's out for this season with the injury he got on Sunday. Southpaw, this kicker Corliss Waitman is a Southpaw. This is his third stint here in Pittsburgh. Last time in 2021. So welcome back, Corliss. Welcome back, Terrell. And I mean, we did what we had to do. There's nothing much more that we could have did for
Yeah.
the kicking position. And you know what? Bringing back the safety help from a veteran, I think, is never a bad idea. Um, so there you go, Mike. That's these are the moves that we made in the last 24 hours since the last time we spoke. Very excited about that. I would have liked to see them grab a receiver, but you know what, Mike? You stated earlier in the show we are going to the Mile High City this weekend, so
Hmm.
maybe, just maybe.
Maybe, hey man, we'll have an extra seat on the charter
That's
for
right.
him, drop off like a fourth round pick for him. Here you
Absolutely.
go.
I'm sure if we fished around the team, I could find somebody active as well. I could.
Well, the way Brandon Ayuk was playing last week, I think we might have dodged a bullet.
Yeah, that
couple drop touchdown, a drop pass, drop across the middle. Like as a bum, he sucks.
you know what? It worked in our
Then next
advantage
week he'll
though, because the
next week,
AFC team lost, and
yeah,
that ultimately helps
yep,
us.
yep,
Let's see if Fran does get the win over
yeah.
the Jets last night, but we will talk more about these scores here in a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I do want to jump over to Chris Boswell,
Balls.
of course, the other player of the game. Some say TJ Watt, some say Chris Boswell, but you know what? They both did great. Mike, check this out. You know how Bos kicked those 350+ yard field goals?
Yeah.
Also, Fairbairn from the Houston Texans each made, so Bos and Fairbairn, their kicker, they each made 3 field goals of 50 or
Mm-hmm.
more. That is the first time ever in the history that two kickers made 3 or more field goals of 50+ on opening day. So Boz again, etch him in history. And also, Mike, he something for the Steelers too. I think this is obviously a Steelers record as well. But what can you say about the performance of Chris Boswell, Mike, and how consistent he's been over the years? And I'm pretty sure I heard them say he is the most consistent kicker in the game.
Yeah, for anything, was it over 50 plus? He's the most accurate kicker in NFL history, if I've read that correctly as well. Not bad for little undrafted guy out of Rice University. He's just been outside of that 1 year after he had his first contract extension. That he had a bad year that year, but Steelers kept with him and he kept plugging away, and he's been consistent ever since. Kind of gets lost in the shuffle of kickers because he had my God, Justin Tucker down in Baltimore just setting the
What
world
I
on
like
fire
about
for the
Tucker, though,
longest
Mike,
time.
he
He's
was
starting
one
to
for
fade
five
now.
last year from 50 yards.
Yeah,
He's
he's
already
starting
missed
to
one
fade.
from 50 yards this year.
Yeah, he's
I like our guy
fading.
better.
Yeah, me too. For a while there, like, Tucker's the guy, but now he's starting to fade, and Boswell has just been steady on all through, coming in clutch, and yes, or Sunday, man, just without skipping a beat, throwing the hat down, putting the helmet on, stretching real quick, punting for the first time, and who knows how long in a game. I don't even know. I don't know if he did it in college, maybe even high school might have been the last time. You probably figured messing around on the field because those guys don't practice, just messing around, punting a
And
little
you're just
bit.
always kicking the ball around.
Yeah, but going out there, and it was a good kick too. So yeah, if he's not special team player of the week, there's something wrong. And my God, he's just a great kicker, man. You don't have to worry about him.
No, gotta love the Boz. Gotta love the Boz. Gotta love the Boz.
Yeah.
Mike, yes, he did. He kicked 3 field goals of 50 plus on Sunday. Again, records for opening day. Him and Fairbairn, all this kind of stuff. Mike, a fantastic job. Mike, I have a question though for this on special teams.
Yeah.
I think they found out a way to just go around this whole dynamic kickoff. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anybody kick it in the landing zone like pretty much all weekend. Now everybody's just kicking it to the end zone and giving it up at the 30-yard line.
Mhm.
You might as well have not even changed anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that. I think it was in the Buffalo game. I think it was their kicker. He found a way to just kick the ball to the 20. And when it got down there, like the teams were able to smother the guy at the 25. So you
Yeah.
really were, it's just like a touchback. I
Yeah.
like them trying to change it, add more excitement to the game. Anything to be innovative, I'm
I
okay
think
with. You
Mike,
try it. If it doesn't work, you have to go
the
back to what it
dynamic
was.
kickoff works for the XFL and the USFL, who they changed. No, mind
Yeah.
you, they changed from this,
Yeah.
but I think it worked better for them because they just aren't as talented. I think
Yep.
you have to give these
Yeah.
talented guys the space, and they make plays, they
Hmm.
make big things happen. I don't like it, Mike. I hope ultimately they do something, maybe go back to the old way.
Yeah.
But as every week, as I said, now they debunked it. They found a way around it. They're just
Yeah.
going to
They
kick the ball. And you know what? What's 5 yards? 30-yard
exactly.
line. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really nothing. You're basically getting the same start as you would at the 25 or a 20,
Yeah.
in my opinion. If
Yeah.
you're starting them at the 45, now we're
That's
talking.
now. Yeah. You have to be punished like kicking out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
do like some teams like the Browns, they let the ball roll into the end zone and do a touchback. You only get it at the 20 there. You
yeah.
lost 10 yards. You've been better off just doing the return.
Oh, I love
So you
them
have
Browns
stupid teams
sometimes.
like the Browns who don't know the rules.
Right.
So it's fun when that stuff happens. But right, I think there's only one kick return for a touchdown this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
don't
I don't
like
know.
it.
I appreciate them trying
I do
something
too,
new.
believe me. But if the
I applaud them.
UFL, if the UFL and the XFL has done away with it, you know what?
Yeah.
I want to do away with it too.
Yeah, you're going to be stuck with it all year. Just run it out and
Yeah.
then just admit, hey, it didn't work out. We tried. We're going to go back to what it was.
It's gonna
No
it's
harm,
gonna
no
go back
foul.
to kicking the ball out of the end zone after this again,
Yeah.
but it's just gonna be the difference of where you line up
Yeah.
beforehand.
I would keep the penalty the same. If you kick it out of the end zone, you get it at the 30.
Yeah, I would get it
And
to
then that
40.
might force them to kick it shorter to where, you get that return and then you have that longer field to work with. And that could create more dynamic plays on the return because now you're going to be punished for kicking it. No, make it to 35.
I don't
Fuck
even
it.
want dynamic plays. I just want them to do the normal kickoff and run it back and
Yeah.
get tackled and go
No,
back
that's
to the
what
way
I'm
things
saying.
were.
Like you say, hey, if you kick it out of the end zone, we're putting the ball at the 40.
That's what I'm saying. Put it at the 40.
Yeah. So then now you're forcing them to kick it outside of the
Yeah,
end
because
zone.
nobody wants to start on the defense on the
Yeah.
40,
Yeah. And make any touchback. You're going to start on the 40, kick it
because you've
short, and then
seen
you have that
damn well
play.
that Chris Boswell was kicking field goals from the Falcons emblem all day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you give us the ball at the
Yeah.
40, you got to gain 10, 15 yards, and you're already in
Yeah.
field goal range.
Yeah. Yeah. And these kickers are just so strong anymore.
They're strong like bull. One other thing with these Steelers, Mike, he got the pole position basically. I think the
Mhm.
odds has Russell Wilson as being the better chance to start this game this week, providing his injury clears
Mhm.
up. We will find out more today once we get the injury report. But Mike, I think you go with Russell Wilson. As much as I enjoyed watching Justin Fields do what he did, as much as I enjoyed watching Fields pick up unlikely first downs that teams have, a difficult time picking up on a third down because he got legs. He could pick up 7 yards like it's nothing,
Yeah.
slide it out and get back to the huddle, start over on a new set of downs. So it's going to be a different field, but I do believe that the odd makers are saying that if he is healthy, it will be a Russell Wilson start, according to them, which
Yeah.
that's. But do you like that, Mike? Are you willing to take you okay with taking a look at Russell Wilson this week and seeing what he brings to the table?
Yeah. But I would put him on a short leash. They're like, it's got to be a quick hook if he starts to struggle and has trouble moving the ball down the field. Um, because you saw what Fields can do, what he's capable of on those deep throws. Everyone knew when he was going to throw, it was going to go to Pickens, and he completed well on those passes. And real quick, Fields play action. He was 9 of 13 out of play action, 81 yards. That was the fourth best in the NFL. So I like that.
Did you see
Keep him in
did you
there.
see his target chart? They
Yeah,
showed
yeah. Everything was
there's
on the
literally
outside.
no ball in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
There's
You know
no
what?
pass thrown in the middle of
Hey,
the field.
but he still had one of the better days as a quarterback in the NFL, though.
Yeah,
So
but we used to say that about Kenny too when he had a
yeah,
really
I
good
know.
day. We
Yeah,
got to
but
win, but it was
yeah,
yeah,
but he's not afraid to take the shot
yeah.
downfield. He can beat you with his legs too. Like, are they going to get more in the middle of the field this week if he has a full week of practice as the starter since he only came in later in the week to work? Because you don't know how
I mean,
they,
realistically, how much time do these guys need to get
yeah,
prepared? If you're a
yeah,
veteran, Super Bowl winning, future Hall of Fame quarterback, you should be okay getting the minimal
yeah.
amount, but we will see, right?
Yeah, well, I was talking about like Fields last week, just getting those first team reps
Yeah.
all on Friday. He probably gets a handful here and there throughout the week, but I feel like they scaled down the playbook for this game for him just to keep it simple in that first game. Not a lot of prep work before, so hopefully this week I want to see Fields out there from the get go, full week of practice, see what he can do. But I wouldn't blame them if they go back to Russ. If Russ is healthy, get him out there. But if it's not looking good, you yank him. And you get Fields right in there.
Well, I say, listen, this is why he has to start. And don't get me wrong, I did like what Justin Fields did. And if he improves, I will like what he's doing going forward. However, this he was already told that he was given the starting job by Mike Tomlin. Russell Wilson's kind of an interesting character. Do you
Yeah.
think if he's healthy and Justin Fields is then given the nod over him, do you start to see the change in Russell Wilson's
Mhm.
personality and his attitude as we move forward if this kind of thing does happen? Because the kind of guy Russell Wilson is. We've heard about these things that went on
Yeah.
in Seattle and then in Denver, and he came here basically, kind
Yeah.
of sort of promised that he had this position, and he gets healthy and they give it to the other guy. Mike, does Russell Wilson become a problem that early? Is this something that has to develop, or do you think he would be okay and go with the flow and do what the team needs him to do, and at that time is not start? What do you think that this is going to do to the Russell Wilson mentality, Mike, and what that will?
I think he can have a little bit of a boo boo face out there, but I don't see him doing anything to sabotage Fields. I can see him like answering in the media, being somewhat truthful how he feels, a little let down, disappointed, feel like he should be given a chance, but I don't think he would do anything to disrupt the team chemistry. Don't think he'd do anything to go out of his way to make Fields not feel welcome, not make Fields feel comfortable. I think he would perform the backup duties given to him, but I think he would be upset. And I wouldn't blame him for being upset, but you just as long as he goes out there and does what he needs to do to help
But you
get
know how
that
he's been
starter
such a
ready.
positive influence so far. He's came
Hmm.
in, he's been working his ass
Yeah.
off. I mean, he shows us videos every
Hmm.
chance that he can. Do you start to see that change just in him
Uh,
overall? Does he
it could
not
be
all
a
this,
yeah.
not all of a sudden being so, here you go, guys, everything, here's me, I'm Josh, I'm Russell Wilson, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh,
I want to know what point. But again, Mike, I have a hard time believing that he won't start this game if he is healthy. It's Denver. They're on this
mhm.
revenge tour. You gave it to Arthur
Yeah.
Smith. You might as well give this one to Russell Wilson before we come back home to play the Chargers. I think Mike, if he's healthy, he gets the nod. As I said, at this point, I could go either way. I'm happy with I take that first drive out of the Justin Fields game.
Hmm.
I'm okay with him. Again, I like to see the ball, get in the end zone more,
Yeah,
which
me
everybody
too.
would. But at this point, whoever they go with, but I just think that you have to kind of go with Russell Wilson this game if he is healthy, Mike, and then beyond that, if you want to, maybe change things around. But this game seems like it's Russell Wilson's game to start.
Yeah, I if they're gonna start him, I say it has to be a quick hook. If he starts, a bunch of stale drives, missing throws,
And this
not
team's
being able to
really bad
convert,
too, which
you're
is,
I know. That's why I'd like to see Fields out there against this bad team, get him some more
right.
confidence going. Because because it's easy to go back to Russ. Russ is quote
Yeah.
unquote the starter, had the pole position, so the backup quarterback's in there. But once you get Russ in there, you have to play him until he's proven that he can't be the guy. Then you're making that quick hook. But once you take him out, you got to ride Fields for the long haul. I feel I don't want Fields coming in one week out the next. It has to be figured out. Like, okay, we're gonna run Russ. If it doesn't look well, guess what? You're done. The experiment's over. We're going with this young guy to see what we have because he's the future. You know, Russ was
Boy,
the
would the boo boo
stopgap.
face be something if that happens? And it's a long
I
term thing.
could
Now
be.
Russell Wilson has to stand on his sideline for the next 10 weeks, basically,
Yeah.
and prepare for action, even though if he's going to get it or
Yeah.
not. So talking about the boo boo face in that situation with this guy.
That's fine. He can have the boo boo face. He can stand there on the sidelines. And then if I'm Omar Khan, I'm looking for teams that the quarterback play isn't that well. And like, hey, we got a guy here.
You
You want
seen
to
what
take a look
happened when
at?
Kenny Pickett got boo boo face, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't long that
we'll
he was
kick
out
the
of
tires. I
town.
don't, yeah, whatever kind of draft capital you can get for him is a plus at this point because you're only paying him like what the league minimum for veterans. He's not getting a whole
Right.
lot of money. So it's not that, if it fails, it fails at this point. It's no
He's barely
big
affording the
deal.
move.
Yeah.
You know,
So, if he doesn't like it, oh well. There's reports that he wasn't as chipper as he normally is after the win yesterday. So people are like, oh, he already has the boo boo face. But
oh,
it's like for him, he's just not as excitable as he normally is. You can
right.
kind of understand he wanted to be out there and play, thought he was healthy enough and wasn't. So I can understand that, but he wasn't doing anything to undermine the team. He was out there engaged. We saw it every after that first drive. He's walking up and down, talking to all the linemen, the receivers, made sure he was talking to Fields. So he's doing what you want to see out of a veteran, out of a leader, and as someone who's been there, done that. He's keeping the morale up, talking to all the guys. If he can do that, if he gets benched, that's fine. He can have the boo boo face all he wants, but as long as he's engaged,
Mike, would it
helping the
help
team.
you? Would it help you if he, instead of doing boo boo phase, if he would just start busting out the Carlton dance from the Fresh Prince of Bel Air on the sideline
Yeah,
every once a quarter? Would that help out a little
that
bit?
would help out a lot.
Yeah.
Just, I just want to see
Yeah, me too.
you do that, get the team fired up. Hell yeah.
Hey, Big B on the board. What's up, Bri? Good morning. I did have a couple things here. Yes, Derpy will be here tomorrow for sure. Um, he was not. Yeah, he's not in today. He'll be in tomorrow. We are going to go down the picks though, Mike, and announce the winner
Mm-hmm.
today, and then and then Derpy will be back, and we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
However, he was unavailable today. Mike, let me hit a couple NFL things here.
Mm-hmm.
We will move forward. This one caught my attention because I think this one is obvious, and I think the only people that don't think that this is insane is the people in New York. Mike, Daniel Jones. Now, since they gave him his 4-year, $160 million contract,
Yeah.
listen to these numbers, guys. Daniel Jones has thrown more touchdown passes to his opposition
Mm-hmm.
than his own team. Guys, since he signed his $160 million 4-year contract, Daniel Jones has thrown 3 pick sixes and only 2 touchdowns.
Saquon Barkley has more touchdowns in Brazil than Daniel Jones has since that contract was signed.
Yeah. I mean, the people in the Giants organization must be the only people on the face of the
Oh,
earth that see it in this
dude,
guy.
dude, there was like they had like the NFL films like for, filming them for like the draft and all that. The GM asked his kid who we should take, and his kid was like Jaden Daniels. He's like, you need a quarterback. Get
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. They're like, oh, we're stuck with this guy.
And then, yeah,
Uh,
geez, oh man,
like
I seen this. I thought
this is why you don't pay quarterbacks after one good year. You
yeah,
don't extend them after one good year. My God.
Daniel Jones, more touchdowns to the
Like
other team.
like who which one is the worst contract, his or Deshaun Watson's?
Yeah. Oh, boy, they're both really bad. Mike, I seen this meme here. It says it has a picture, and you may have seen it. Has a picture of a 4-piece McNugget Happy Meal, and then right next to it's the picture of
Yes.
Daniel Jones,
Yes.
and it has the comparison. So
Yeah.
under each picture, it says doesn't throw touchdowns under the Happy Meal, doesn't throw touchdowns under Daniel Jones. Then underneath
Hmm.
the Happy Meal, it says can't read a defense, and underneath Daniel Jones, it says can't read a defense. Underneath the Nuggets, it says makes people happy. Under Daniel Jones, it says makes people sad.
I saw that and I was like,
The people
that
would
is the
rather
perfect
have a
summation.
Happy Meal than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, like this dude is bad. And like P said, some folks need fired. Like if that entire front office and coaching staff isn't fired this
What a
year,
bad
oh
organization up there. You'd think
my
New
God.
York, they'd have put together more than this.
Yeah,
But
like the Mara family, they've been in the league as longer, a little bit longer than the Rooneys. They know what they're doing, and
good
oh
morning, P as well on the board.
my
Um,
God.
yeah, so that I thought was funny, guys. Mike, I do also want to blow through the scores from week one, or I'm sorry, yes, week one. We're in week two now. Let's go through these because I do want to announce the winner of the picks, and we will talk more about
Hmm.
that as we move on because Derpy wasn't available today. So I'm going to just jump over to the score page. We'll blow through these scores for the week since the last game was played last night. I didn't want to do it yesterday because we still had
Yep.
the 49ers and Jets. So we will just go through these scores here real quick, Mike. I'll give you the results on the picks of the week and we will move forward. If There we go. All right, Mike. So the first couple games of the weekend obviously started out last week, Thursday and Friday night. Chiefs beat the Ravens 27-20 down in Brazil. As Mike mentioned, that game, the Eagles beat the Packers 34-29. A little bit of a surprise to me over the weekend. Carr and the Saints put up 47
Yeah.
points. It was against the Panthers, mind you, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, uh,
Carr looked like an NFL quarterback.
he looked like an NFL quarterback. I'm going into this real quick, Mike, just for 1 second to see what. Okay, so Deontay Johnson had the 2 catches for 19 yards.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, nobody's really great in their receiver core. Mike
No.
Adam Thielen, the other guy, he had 3 catches for 49 yards, which certainly didn't set the world
No.
on fire. So Carolina's going to be Carolina. There's not much you're going to be able to do
Yeah.
about that
Yeah,
mess.
they messed up that draft big time.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. The next game, the Vikings. Sam Darnold had a nice outing over the Giants.
yeah.
Surprise, surprise, 28
He's
to
looking
6.
good.
One of the games that I thought was a bit of a surprise was the New England Patriots over the Bengals, 16-10.
The Bengals are imploding right before our eyes. I love it.
So when the Patriots beat us last year and the Houday fans that gave us all that
Yeah.
shit, now who's
Hmm.
talking?
Exactly.
Mike, the Houston Texans squeak one out over the Indianapolis
Yeah.
Colts, 29-27. Buffalo Bills comes back and beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-28. The Bears, a big comeback. They were down 17-0 in this game. They come back to beat the Titans 24-17. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That defense is really good too.
Yeah, Bears usually got good D. Mike, also the Dolphins, they make a comeback. They win 20 to
Hmm.
17 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. A replay of Super Bowl 50, was it? The Broncos and Seahawks, which did involve our quarterback, Russell Wilson. The Seahawks win this one 26-20. The Chargers, who we play next week when we come home, not this coming week, but the game 3, they beat the hated Raiders 22-10. The Cowboys beat the Browns 33-17. Now, this is my team in the NFC South, guys. If all these people kept talking all these good things about Atlanta, I never bought it. This Buccaneers team will be the team that wins that division. I think Baker Mayfield runs the table in that division. Buccaneers win 37-20 over the Commanders. Sunday night brought an overtime game between the Lions and the Rams. The Lions pulled this one off in overtime, 26-20. And finally, last night on Monday Night Football, the 49ers 32, the Jets 19. Another thing that I can't wait to watch implode is the whole Aaron Rodgers hype. Of course,
Oh,
we heard how much he was missed last year, and they played about 13 primetime games because he was supposed to be in there. But I'm ready to watch the whole thing fall apart. Mike, he didn't play all season. He was on an injury. The guy's getting old. He's not the same guy that he was. So the people that keep picking the Jets to go to the Super Bowl, stop it. Just stop it. It's not
I
going to
uh
happen.
I just love the downfall of Aaron Rodgers. I never liked him, and it just warms my heart.
Yes. Good morning. Moving into good afternoon, John. John says Derpy needs a lack of motivation. Yes, he does. Like a rolled up newspaper. That's exactly right. Smack him on the nose, and I'll rub his nose in the shit too. Also, John says I came in just in time for the belch. But Mike, let's knock these out real quick. This was the picks from this week. We do have a winner. One of you guys won 14-13.
Ooh,
There's 16 games to pick. Let me throw that out there one more time. There's 16 games. One of you gentlemen won 14. The other one won 13. We do have a winner. The tiebreakers didn't come into play. If they would have, Derpy would have had the tiebreaker. There was
ooh,
a total of, what was it, 28 points?
yeah,
28 points, Derpy. Well, you know what? You both went over, but he was the closest with 34. You had
yeah.
41. All right, so here we go, Mike. The Chiefs, you guys both picked them. Philadelphia, you guys both picked Philadelphia. Both picked the Saints, both picked the Vikings. Um, you both lost on the Bengals game. You both picked the Bengals. New England won. You both picked the Texans. You both picked the Bills. You picked the Bears. He picked the Titans. You both picked the Dolphins. You both picked Seattle. You both picked the Chargers. You both picked the Cowboys. You both picked the Buccaneers. You picked the Lions. For some reason, he picked the Rams. You both got the 49ers. He got the Steelers. Mike, you win
Yep.
14-13. This might be the best round that we've ever had between you guys. Between for the
I think, yeah, for
the
the
amount
amount
of
of
games
wins.
picked right, Mike,
Yeah,
16 total games. You got 14 of them right.
yeah. I if only I would have picked all just those 14 in my parlay, I would have done really well.
P on the board. Yes, we did technically all pick Atlanta, but in the picks itself, Derpy did pick the Steelers in this game.
Yeah,
So there you go, Mike. You're on the that's the first step.
yeah,
17 more games, 17 more weeks, 16 more games for
yeah.
the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, the award this year it's going to be something for Manny's, and I'll
Hmm.
explain the whole process later. But Mike, you
Yeah.
were up 1-0. A lot of season left, but after first week, like the Steelers being in first place, it feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It feels great. First of all, I'd like to thank L. Ron Hubbard. Thank you for believing in me, L. Ron. I could have done it without him and all my fans. It's just we did it. Now it's just to move forward to next week, baby.
All right, once Mike stops talking crazy about all of his fan. Um,
Hey,
hey, so also, yeah, so I'm gonna jump over, Mike. We got we're starting to went pretty quick today, I gotta say. I'm
yeah,
gonna
it
jump
did.
over
It
to
flew.
some Pitt, Mike. Pitt, of course, has a big game this weekend against West Virginia. I will talk um about that in 1 second, but I do want to say that the Pitt Panthers announced that they fired their athletic director, Heather Lyke.
Yeah,
Now, I thought a lot of people liked her, and things have been successful with her, but there's been a lot of speculation of her jumping ship and going somewhere else lately. And I have a
yeah,
feeling that has to do with it. She's got job offers out the ass. So I think
yeah.
Heather Lyke will probably be going to one of these schools, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. You know,
Yeah, I read that and like the NIL money. She's one of the few ADs that really hasn't gotten on board with the NIL,
okay.
and that's huge right now. You
Yeah.
have to get on board because you're going to miss out on players, and you may not like it, but that's what you have to do now. You have to adapt to what's going on, and apparently, like that, what I read, I don't know if it's true or not, but like you said, it was the other job offers and the NIL money are the two that I saw as to why she's was let go.
which I'm
But
good. I'm cool.
yeah,
I,
but like like
what are you
she
gonna
helped
do?
a lot of those programs. That volleyball team is now one
Absolutely.
of the best in the nation. The
I
soccer team's on the come up.
Mike, that is my big announcement. The big one of these big Pitt announcements. Women's volleyball from Pitt is the number one team
Yep.
in the country as of yesterday. That's right, Pitt volleyball.
Hmm.
Might not seem like a lot, might not seem like a lot to some of you, but I tell you what, sit down and watch a Pitt women's volleyball game every once in a while. If you don't like the athleticism and the good volleyball, them chicks in those uniforms are pretty hot. I'm just going to leave it there. Guys, the Pitt Panthers are the number one team in women's volleyball. I like this. I like it a lot, actually. But Mike, finally, let me get back to this Pitt football team. I just want to mention yesterday because we were on a little bit of a shorter time at this point in the show. Mike, the Pitt Panthers, they got four ACC players of the week this week. Desmond Reed, as I mentioned yesterday, he's
Hmm.
the first player in Pitt history to have a 100 yards rushing and receiving in the same game. Mumfield, a receiver. I'll give you some of his numbers in a second. Of course, Eli Holstein, the freshman quarterback, and Ben Sauls. These four are the kicker. These four are ACC players of the week in their own categories. Desmond Reed, Mike, I gave you his numbers. He did carry the ball 119 times for 148 yards. He caught the ball 6 times for 106 yards and a
Sure.
touchdown. Mumfield had 5 catches, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Eli Holston in his first 2 games has gone 50 for 75, 638 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 83 points, and has led the team to a 2-0 start. And finally, Ben Sauls, the kicker, went 3 for 3 with a 53-yard long. Those four gentlemen were named on the ACC Players of the Week. They named, a handful of them
Yeah.
for different positions. So good on them. They better bring it next week because this West Virginia game is huge.
Yeah.
Mountaineers will be coming to town this weekend for the backyard brawl, and if we win this, we'll be looking good. And they kind of need it down there. They don't want to start out 1-2 with their only win to
Mm-mm.
Albany, So
Yeah.
it'll be a big
It's
game.
good. It's going to be huge, and the way Holstein's playing, that second half comeback from just not just the team, but him personally rallying from that poor start that he had. This kid could be something special, and I hate to say that as a Penn State fan, but it's nice to see Pitt have hopefully
Somebody that's actually a
have
normal quarterback.
a normal quarterback and just like another just a good team. Pitt's a historically a good pro. Like people know Pitt. You see
Yeah,
all the Hall of Famers that come out at Pitt. It'd be nice if they have like a good team because some
Mike,
of
you
those
know how
Hall of
I always
Famers
say about
never
the
won
pro
anything in
quarterbacks.
college.
There's
Yep.
only X amount of guys that could be
Hmm.
that are very good at
Yeah.
pro quarterbacks. Mike, it's Pitt is so hit or miss at quarterback. Some of
Yeah.
these guys don't even look like they played a day in high school. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, completing a pass is a chore.
Yeah.
So it is. It's a great thing to see somebody like Eli Holstein come to this
Yeah.
team as a freshman from Alabama, started leading the way here and is putting up fantastic numbers.
Hmm.
So we're going to hope that
Yeah.
continues through
Like
West Virginia
yeah,
and beyond.
build because if he can stay and you can build a team around him, you guys can be a really good program by the time he leaves. To where Kenny Pickett had that great senior year, but the years leading up to it, you want to talk about he was up and down like a roller coaster. If you get this Holstein and going, his trajectory going this way every year,
Yeah,
by
my
the
only
time
thing
he
about
leaves, you
him,
guys can be competing for
my
playoffs.
only problem with that, Mike, is he'll be on another team in 2 seasons if he keeps playing
That's
slow.
why I'm saying if they can build around him and keep the program on the ascension, you got to be fighting for a playoff spot. Down the road, he has that ability, he has that mindset where he can be that guy.
Absolutely, Mike. So far, so good. I do also want to say a quick mentioning of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They start 1 month from yesterday. Mike, your Pens back on
Hmm.
the ice to start off regular season 1 month from yesterday. Um,
Probably bigger than Kenny's.
yes. And also, P said before that, Carolina and the G-men in the race to the bottom. No two ways about that.
Hmm.
You know what the funny thing is, though? They both have their quarterback. So, however it plays out, Bryce or Daniel Jones is still going to be the quarterback leading the way for those two squads moving forward.
I,
So, whatever they do is going to be a disaster.
that was bad. You like my God, the capital they gave up to move up to number one.
Yeah.
They could have just stayed where they were. CJ Stroud would have went to them because the Texans were going to take Bryce Young if he was available. These teams, man, when you're bad and you just make one bad decision after the next, it just snowballs. That's why
Mike,
I'm glad that that's why I'm glad I'm a Steeler fan.
I'm gonna go to the bullpen finally and pull these
Yes.
Pirates. Tell them to get their asses out to the mound here. Pirates had Paul Skeens Day yesterday. So Paul Skeens back on the hill. He had his 20th
Yes.
start of the season. He got his 10th win by the Pirates beating the Miami Marlins 3-2. Pirates are now 68-76. The Marlins dropped to 54-90. Um, Paul Skeens goes 6 innings, gives up 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and he had 9 strikeouts, followed up by Holderman, Santana, and Chapman. They come in the rest of the way, got the win again, 3-2 Pirates. Andrew McCutchen gets 2 hits. O'Neill Cruz gets a home run. Handful of guys, Nicky G, Brian Reynolds, De La Cruz, Triolo, they all had 1 hit. Rowdy Tellez had a walk, and Lika Williams had a run. Game 2 of 3 is today at 6:40 against these Miami Marlins. Starting for the Pirates is going to be Carmen Majinski with the 2-5, comes in with the 3.73 and 36 strikeouts on the year. And for Miami, Adam Oler, who's 1-2 with a 4.15 and 22 strikeouts on the year. By yesterday, Paul Skeens did capture the record for the most strikeouts since 1900 by a Pittsburgh Pirates rookie by
Nice.
getting his 143rd strikeout of the season.
Hey, you know what? It's nice to see a pirate record that being broken from the 1900s in a good way, in a positive way. It's a good step forward for this organization.
Yeah, and you know what I really like what John said here too. I mean, and even with P with the the uniforms for these volleyball girls, he said I like to watch sports with hot athletic chicks taller with me. You know what? I really do too. I really really enjoy watching this sport, and I'm glad our team's good because that gives us an opportunity to see them more on television, which I ultimately love. But Mike, that for the Pirates, they are now 14 and a half games out, last place in the basement, 11 games out of the wild card. Totally blew this season with that 10-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee at top, of course, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Chicago, St. Louis, Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and then Pittsburgh. Only
Not
about, yeah, good.
I was gonna say not just that 10-game losing streak, but how many games lost along the way, especially early in the season that Keller, Jones, and Skeens lost because of
Yeah.
bad bullpen play.
Skis did get his 10th win of the season and his 20th start. He's 10-2. A bunch of no decisions, of course, as you could tell. Um, Pirates were out hit by the Marlins 8-7. They almost lost it in the ninth inning. Marlins came up, put a run, but the Roldis Chapman did hold him off. The Bucks did seal the deal on Paul Skeens Day. Mike, real quick, let me see what Brian said here. How is he not the rookie of the year? It's not even close. Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's gonna win rookie of the year. But
I don't
Mike,
know. A lot of people were on that bandwagon of that rookie out in the Padres,
hey,
Jackson Merrill.
that's all right. Some people's got to. That's right. People
Yeah,
got to
but
support him too.
he's on a damn good team with a lot of talent around him in
This
that
guy's on the
lineup. He's
Pittsburgh Pirates and he managed
yeah,
10 wins. And, come
yeah,
on. I
yeah.
think the advantage goes there. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. If you head on over there, check it out, guys. Especially if you're new here, all of our links to social media are on there, stuff that I don't have listed on YouTube. So go over there, check it out for all of our links. Got the merchandise store over there, the blog over there as well. Now that I figured out what was going on with the website, I was able to log back in. So the blog will be updated this week. So check it out, the2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, gentlemen, ladies, everybody, people on the board, here we go. This is the question of the day. Of course, it's going to be a Denver Broncos trivia question because that's what we do. Every week, whoever the Steelers are playing that week, we will do the opposing teams and trivia throughout the week. Today, guys, no different than yesterday, will be a Denver Broncos trivia. Here we go. Mike, put on your thinking caps. People on the board, people at home, here we go. Which MLB team drafted Broncos great quarterback John Elway? Which MLB team drafted Broncos great quarterback John Elway. Go ahead and think that over for a moment. We're live. We're live 5 days here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, right here on YouTube. We hope that you continue to check us out. All right, guys, the question of the day is this. Which Major League Baseball team drafted Broncos' great quarterback, John Elway? Mike, do you have any guesses which baseball team drafted
Yeah.
John Elway?
Like P on the board said, the Yankees.
Okay, so P on the board says the Yankees. Mike, you say the Yankees. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Mike, the second part of the question, do you know what football team drafted John Elway?
Do I know what football team?
You know the sport he plays in?
Yeah, the Denver Broncos.
No, he was drafted by the Baltimore Colts. But anyway, the
Oh,
real question of the day. Don't get yourself all worked up. John says no clue. Both of the guys so far, so the Yankees. The question of the day is this: which MLB team drafted Broncos' great quarterback, John Elway? Both P and Mike says the Yankees. The answer, guys, is the Yankees. Yes, he was drafted by the Yankees out of Stanford. Well, was a hell of a pitcher, and ended up getting drafted also by the Baltimore Colts in 1983. And then, of course, you know the rest. Went to the Broncos, lost 3 Super Bowls in the 80s, won 2 Super Bowls in the 90s. And that is the amazing career of John Elway. But great job, guys. Mike, anything we start getting ready to wrap it up for today?
yeah. Darius Rush, cornerback in the concussion protocol. Dan Moore has that ankle injury. He's going to be limited. Tomlin expects Roman Wilson to practice.
Oh, thank goodness.
And Sayamalo has a chance too, Tomlin said.
Yeah,
It's being
that's
reported
big.
by Ray Fittipaldo. He's reporting that from the press conference. Saw that on his Twitter. So yeah, so those will be some huge additions if they can play.
On the board, yes, Brian. Baltimore did draft him in the NFL. The Yankees are who drafted him in the majors, though. All right, that's big. I mean, the Roman Wilson, the Ciamalo. So keep an eye on those things. As we said, as Mike said, once we finish the show up here in a couple minutes, switch over to the Mike Tomlin press conference, maybe catch a little bit more of what he has to say in depth, and we'll certainly catch up on that as well. And we will talk about that stuff tomorrow. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out with us today and checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. We really, really do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting. What else, Mike? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I know. Okay, I'm stupid. Do check out the new next Sunday pregame show. Brian Pasquale was here yesterday on the show, and we were also with him Sunday doing a special. Check out Sunday morning, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Brian will be doing on YouTube. And I just checked out his One Man's Opinion page over on YouTube. Mike, you can easily find it a little bit easier now. I'm not sure. Again, he's working through this week, getting everything prepared. But Sunday, 11 to 12, Pittsburgh Steelers pregame. Brian Pasquale, One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Also catch him Wednesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. all through football season over on the radio station WBVP. That's Beaver County Radio. You can check him out on Facebook or the YouTube page for the radio station every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Catch One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. That's on the radio. And finally, also in the mornings on Wednesday, he'll be coming out with new videos he's creating, which are really, really cool. So you're going to want to check them out as well. So do check out our friend of the show, Brian Pasquale. Again, Wednesdays for his radio show, Sundays for his pregame show, and Wednesday mornings for his new videos. So check them out. Mike, anything before we go, my man?
Tomlin also says they're going to prepare Fields as their starting quarterback. Said he had a good workout. Excited about working with Fields as a starter for a full week. And he also said Russell Wilson, will not participate fully tomorrow in practice.
Interesting, because tomorrow's Wednesday already.
Yeah, and that's the key practice day.
Yes.
Yeah, so interesting things happening in Pittsburgh. So tune in.
Yes, we'll be back tomorrow first thing to talk about all this. Also, Pirates are back in action tonight. Again, game 2 of the Marlins series at 6:40. But a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers scoop keeps coming up, so we'll keep getting it ready. Be back first thing tomorrow to talk about all of it. Again, you go probably jump over now and catch the end of the Tomlin press
Yep.
conference. But for us, that's going to be it for the day. Mike, anything else from you? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I got nothing, brother.
All right, everybody. Well, we do thank you once again. I hope everybody has a great day. Stay safe. And if you have to listen to us later for your bread and circus, so you're not driving, you're not losing your mind with the stupid debate stuff that I keep hearing about all morning, come back over and watch us here at the bread and circus. We'll take care of you. But if you do watch that, keep your sanity. We'll be back first thing in the morning to talk all kind of Pittsburgh sports. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.